Hello, everyone. This is Dr. I here, and welcome to the second live training on education. So I have developed a 6-part live training on education, and so I actually go live on every Tuesday at this hour. So last Tuesday we discussed the real danger of an exam-based education. And I think I discussed 5 dangers. So if you missed last week's live discussion, make sure you leave in the comment section saying I missed the first training or training number 1. And I'm going to go back after I finish today's live streaming training to revisit everyone's comment for those of you who missed the very first training. And I'm going to send you a link where you can watch the replay. So today we are doing the second training and we are talking about my personal all-time favorite topic, which is social media, the truth about your children's social media addiction. And this is actually a 2-part training. And today I'm going to lay a few facts and some foundations, and I'm going to try to finish in 30 minutes. So if you have questions, make sure that you leave your questions until the end or leave them in the comment section, and I will be doing the Q&A approaching the end. It will be really hard for me to do the training and actually keep an eye on the questions. Hey, Elia, thank you for joining me live. And so today I'm going to leave some foundations, and then next Tuesday at the same time, and I am going to teach you the specific house and how our children, I use children or students as a generic term. It doesn't matter how, middle school, high school, young adults, emerging professional. It doesn't matter who you are. If social media is a part of your life, this training is relevant to you, okay? And next Tuesday, the same time, I'm going to teach you the specific house, and I actually have a 3C model, and I'm going to teach you that model and to show you and how you can apply that model to transform your social media addiction into a positive, beneficial, career-building, future-ready tool. Okay, so I'm live on LinkedIn. I'm also live on Facebook and on my personal page, on my business page. I'm also live on YouTube and on Twitter, on Twitch. So let me know in the comment section where you are joining me live from, and social media wise and geographically speaking. I'm just going to check on LinkedIn real quick to see if I'm actually going live there, and then we are going to start today's training. Let me say hi to my LinkedIn friends. How is your day, everyone? How are you? Hello, everyone. And so great to see you. And I promise you, and this training is going to offer you so much value. You are going to walk away from today's training with a much better understanding of social media, especially if you are a parent, and how you can apply some of the things that I mentioned today. And make sure you bookmark your calendar and join next Tuesday's training, where I'm going to dive deeper into the how-to part to apply everything I mentioned to your own parenting and homeschooling. And I promise you this is not something that children are learning from their traditional school environment. So let's get started. So the truth about your children's social media addiction. Yes, you are so welcome. And by the way, and let me share in the banner. And I also have a workbook to accompany this 6-part training. And if you want to get a copy of my workbook, leave workbook in the comment section, and I'm going to visit the comments and share the workbook with you. Okay. And next week's training is, make sure you bookmark your calendar, August 18th, and I will be discussing the how-to part. Okay, so the truth about your children's social media addiction. Here is truth number 1. Are you ready? So the first one is all those social media apps, regardless of LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you use, Instagram, of course, all those social media apps are designed to make your children become addictive. Okay. And not just children, and doesn't matter how old you are, anyone who is using social media, and if you are not feeling addicted to this teeny tiny device, it means that this social media platform is not doing their job, and they are not going to be on in the marketplace for too long. So it is their job to make you addicted. So that is the overall context. Keep that in mind. And it's like Netflix, right? We all watch Netflix. And I'm guilty of binge watching Netflix myself. And after I watch an episode, I will be, feeling the anxiety, the anticipation. Oh my God, I can't wait to watch the next episode. What happened to this person, to that person? What is going on? So they make it that way, right? At the high point, climax, they stop. They want you to come back to watch the next episode. So the same logic can be applied to social media. You are on social media, and those apps are designed to make you become addictive, especially for the younger children. They don't really have a strong self-control. And as I was doing and preparing for this live training, I actually discovered an interview, and where a group of insiders, a group of people from Silicon Valley, they actually conducted an interview with BBC. So let me share with you what they mentioned. So as those people, they did an in-depth interview with BBC regarding social media. So one person mentioned this: behind every screen on your phone, there are generally like 1,000 engineers that have worked on this app to make it maximally addicting. Okay, I want you to pay attention to the last two words. Their intention is to make you be as addicted as possible. That is their goal to design all those social media apps. So here's another follow-up in the same interview. In order to get the next round of funding, in order to get your stock price up, the amount of time that people spend on your app has to go up. So in other words, in order for those developers to get money, to develop, to improve the app, and they want to make sure that people are actually spending time on the app, as much time as possible. So that is the context, right? No wonder people like you and me, no wonder our children are really addicted, because that is how those app developers make money. Okay, so that is number one. I want to the first truth, and I want to share with, and that's I love this comment. And right, the interview there with the CEO of Flipboard, he said that he says of social media like eating junk food. Yeah, they are designed to make you addicted. Okay, so that is the overall context. However, on the other hand, and I'm going to share with you the second truth about social media. Second, okay, so we have kind of just mentioned that, the overall context behind all those apps and developers, they want you to make you be as addicted as possible. Remember those two quotes that I shared? So on the other hand, so much research and studies, they have shown that digital literacy is actually a very important 21st century skill. Okay, and this is especially relevant for parents, and to understand for our children as they grow older, they are entering today's show me economy, right? So what I mean by show me economy is in contrast to the traditional tell me economy. And when you are doing job applications or internship applications, whatever you apply, and you are telling the other person how good you are on a piece of resume. Hey, I went to this school for this education. I'm a great writer and I'm a great, amazing journalist. I did this, I did that. I interned here and there. I had like 10 years plus experience in this and that. So that is the traditional tell me economy, right? On a resume, on a piece of paper, tell me how good you are. But we are entering, like our children, especially they are entering today's show me economy. Show me how good you are. And how can you show that? Creative technologies and social media, they are important tools to facilitate that show me economy. And earlier this year, LinkedIn, they published LinkedIn Learning and on like a report. And on that report, great, we have someone who is not addicted. Yeah, that's great. I'm happy to hear that. And but there is a important message. I hope you can stay until the end. So even though, the first point is that people are addicted. Second, on the other hand, digital literacy is actually a very important future-ready skill. And LinkedIn Learning, earlier this year, they published a report. So on the report, they listed a number of soft skills that most companies need in 2020, but they are struggling to find people who have those soft skills. In the same report, they also publish a list of hard skills that most companies need in 2020 and beyond, but they are struggling to find those hard skills. And hard skills including digital storytelling, digital story selling, like what I'm doing right now, digital storytelling, sharing my story, sharing my content, and digital story selling. How good are you in terms of persuading others in terms of what you do in the format of a story? I'm using my story to sell my expertise, and those are important skills. And also copywriting. And I have been running my business for some time, and I have been doing social media for some time. And I can tell you, writing for social media, copywriting is so different from academic learning, from academic writing, where our students, they are learning how to write a journal article, how to practice traditional academic learning, and they also need to learn how to write for the social media audience. One big difference is that social media writing, you need to feel comfortable to evoke people's emotions, and you want to have that very strong hook. Unfortunately, many students are not developing digital copywriting, digital storytelling, digital story selling. And let me take a look. Deep work. Yeah. Hey, Phil, thank you for joining us. And so earlier this year, I interviewed Esther Wojcicki, who is the godmother, who is known as the godmother of Silicon Valley. And she is the mom of the CEO of YouTube and the mom of the CEO of 23andMe and the mom of a doctor. So she is an amazing mom. And she also wrote a book titled How to Raise Successful People. Highly recommend that you check out the book. And I had the great honor to interview her, and we had a great interview. If you want to check out the interview, let me know in the comment section, and you want to check out that interview. And so, I see someone. Where else are you streaming? I'm also live on. So I think you are joining us live on Twitch. I'm also live on Twitter / Periscope, YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. So pretty much all the places. And thank you for joining us live. So my interview with Esther Wojcicki, and in the interview, and she told me this. We all know STEM, right? Out of ink. So the traditional STEM. So Wojcicki shared with me that she actually she actually added an additional M to the traditional STEM. So the additional M that she added stands for media. Okay, that shows even though our children are addicted, I think that is, which I'm going to discuss in the next point, is because they haven't truly discovered the power of social media. That's why they're so addicted. But anyway, so Esther Wojcicki added an M to the traditional STEM. I so agree. Media digital literacy is a very important 21st century skill. And so I want to show you this. So let me share my screen real quick. So this one, if you are interested in checking out the link, let me know. This is something that I use at my own school when I designed my own curriculum. So this is developed by OECD, and they developed this learning compass, 2030, in order for our children to be future ready. What are some of the skills that they need to develop? What are some of the knowledge they need to learn? What are some of the attitudes they need to have? All those things. So I want you to check out the core foundations. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. So when you look at the core foundations, okay, talking about literacy, the traditional literacy, and physical mental health, and again, digital literacy, right? Physical health and social emotional foundations, data literacy, digital literacy, okay? And I have, so here's another study, and this is another foundation that I use, which is applied education system, and they listed 12 important 21st century skills. And out of those 12 important skills, guess what they have? Information literacy, media literacy, technology literacy, all of them fall under digital literacy. Okay, so I want to share with you, if you are watching this right now, or if you are checking out the replay, it is very important for you to understand that digital literacy is an important skill. And this is actually a learned skill. And so I'm going to elaborate this in the third point. And unfortunately, at least in the United States, many like middle schools and high schools, they completely ban social media. Okay, so here is my argument. If digital storytelling, digital story selling, and digital copywriting and digital literacy are important 21st century skills, and if we are banning them in the traditional educational classroom, where on earth our children, middle schoolers, high schoolers, college age students, emerging professionals, where on earth are those people going to learn those important skills? And I'm telling you, I have been in the digital media space for a few years, and this is a very hard skill, and you cannot only learn from academics, from a book. Okay, I read a book about social media, I read a book on digital storytelling, and therefore I'm an expert on this topic. You have to practice this in order to master this, and you have to put yourself out there in the industry and learn from industry professionals in order to master this. Really, really important. Okay, so that is the second truth about social media addiction I want to share. And so the first one is that those apps are designed to make you addictive. Second one is kind of go to the other hand, and digital literacy is actually a very important skill. Okay, thank you for joining us live, everyone. And the third one I want to share, which was actually when I first discovered this, I was a little bit shocked. And so, which is okay. So being a digital native does not automatically make you a digital literate person. Okay, so let me repeat that again. Just because you are called a digital native, meaning people who have grown up with technology, that does not make you automatically a digital literate person. Okay, and this is actually, as I mentioned earlier, a learned skill. And let me ask you this question. Hey, Tim, thank you for joining. And so let me ask you this question, right? Almost all of us, we have grown up with electricity, right? You know, we turn on this, there's electricity, we can use the computer, we can turn on the light, this and that. But does that make you an electrician? You know, make you an expert on electricity? If my washer is broken, I have to call an electrician. Hey, can you come to fix my machine? So the same thing with digital literacy. Just because our children or us have grown up with technology, with the internet, with social media, that does not make us a digital literate expert. Okay, this is a learned skill. And I want to share this with you. And when you think about everyone on the internet, right? And you know, we have, I don't know how many billion people using the internet. And I want to share this number with you. So among all those people on the internet, 90% of all the people on the internet are actually lurkers. And 9% are actually contributors, like everyone here, you know, Lance, Phil, Tim, and thank you so much for being here. And 9% are actually contributors. You know, meaning that you are commenting, you are sharing my content, you are contributing to the content that is out there. And who is that 1%? Who has an answer for the 1%? Again, right here. So only 1% is creator, and I'm proud to call myself a creator, right? So in order for our children, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, if you feel like you are having, you know, I just can't stop using my phone, being really addicted, one way to flip that around is to change your relationship with social media from being a passive consumer, or in the case our children, our students, most students use social media only as a way to be entertained, okay? Only for entertainment purpose. And to flip that around is that you want to invite them to join the 1%, to join the 1%, to become a content creator. Whatever they are passionate about, you know, can they do what I'm doing right now, right? Whatever, so maybe they are into Minecraft. My 8 years old is really into Minecraft. So I challenged him to start his podcast. He's starting a podcast on Minecraft, talking about Minecraft. To me, that's great. You want them to create, right? So maybe for you, you are really into fashion, you are really into history, or maybe you are really into social media, talking about the psychological effects of social media on the young people, right? That's a great topic. And so start a blog or start a podcast, become that 1% creator. So this is what I work with my own students at Classroom Without Walls. And even before I resigned, I work with my own undergraduate students to shift, to have that mental shift from using social media only as a way to consume, only as a way to be entertained, to actually use social media to help them. You know, instead of being used by social media, you use social media to help you. So you change that relationship. And as we're talking about this right now, and I have to discuss a very important theory or foundation in education. It is called a Bloom taxonomy. Developed by Bloom. And so this person divided learning into different stages, into different phases. And so the bottom 3 levels are the lower cognitive level, okay? And the higher 3 levels are the upper 3 levels are the higher cognitive level, okay? And you want your children, you know, or you watching this right now, and you want you to transform and transition, you know, out of the lower cognitive level to the higher cognitive level. And who wants to give me this a try? What are the things on the lower level? And the lower level is easily going to be replaced by AI, by technology, which has already happened. And so the higher cognitive level is not, at least in the near future, to be replaced by AI and technology. And we want our children to cultivate, to develop, and even as lifelong learners. For myself, I want to cultivate my ability, the higher cognitive level, doing those 3 things. So let me share them with you. The lowest level, remember, and apply. That's why those are the lower cognitive level, okay? And that's why I think the traditional education model is so broken. Why? Because when children go to school, and even when I think about myself, you know, I'm a lifelong learner. I take classes all the time, and I go to conferences all the time. And oftentimes I'm being challenged to learn, to remember, to understand, to apply only short-term memory. When you look at the traditional schools, and they ask our students to remember definition, to memorize facts and information. But guess what? Google knows so much more than, you know, how much I know. You know, I don't need to remember anything, right? I don't even need to remember my phone number. Everything is stored somewhere. So, you know, those are the lower cognitive level. And the higher level are analyze, evaluate, and create. So creation is really the highest level. You want your children, and even you know, talking about that 1%, you want to join that 1%. You want to become a creator where you can utilize your critical thinking, creativity, and so many different and important skills. You want to create something new based on what you have learned, what you have applied, what you have analyzed, what you have evaluated. You want to create something new out of that, okay? So today we're talking about social media, and I want to use social media as an example to explain to you how you can use social media to create, right? Like if you have older children and like maybe they just graduate from college, for example, and their major is in psychology, right? So they should easily do what I'm doing right now. Can they actually launch a podcast talking about real life implications of psychology or psychological theories, right? So what are some theories that can really help us to make our life better? They can do a solo training like what I'm doing right now, or they can interview industry leaders, thought leaders, and experts to discuss the implications of a few important theories in psychology, right? So if you have younger children and ask them to write a blog article about this. My children have been using Adobe Spark, which I have been talking a lot. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, send me a DM. I have a few videos I can share with you. So my children have been using Adobe Spark to document their learning journey, their reflection, and to share their knowledge with the general public, right? To me, that is a great way to validate their learning. And they can write a blog article. They can even, so maybe they are really into creativity. Can they use iMovie to create a film of their family trip, you know, their vacation, you know, have a few pictures, record a video of mommy and daddy and brothers and sister, you know, get some footage from the outside. So can they actually create a video, right? Or can they create a poster and to showcase what they have learned. Or if you have even younger children, they are really into dinosaur, right? I just love dinosaur. Can they create an infographic about dinosaur, different centuries? What is this dinosaur about? So ask them to create. That is another really powerful way to shift their relationship with social media from being passively addicted to become an active creator, to join that 1%. Okay. And even launch a podcast, I mentioned that earlier, and videos, and you want them to create something new. And I want you to mark your calendar. So next Tuesday at the same time, I will be diving into my 3C model to actually show you how you can apply that model. And doesn't matter, I think next week's training can really benefit working professionals, college grads, and even younger children to learn how you can apply that model to become a creator, to join that 1%, and to start practicing digital networking. Okay. And so this is one way to flip that around, and about your children's social media addiction. And last but not least, I also want to share my own iceberg model. And so my own iceberg model is developed really based on my experience of working with almost 3,000 students and teaching in the classroom for 10 plus years, and working nowadays as run my own school and as an education consultant, working with different brands. So I developed an iceberg model to future-proof the next generation. So let me share my model with you. Now this is my this is my tip of the iceberg. So the tip of the iceberg is school-based learning. Okay. And I created this because I wanted to send a very strong message to parents. Many parents, they think that, my children, they are going to a school and my school teachers are going to take care of my children. And by the time they graduate from whatever school they attend, they are going to be ready for life. Unfortunately, my friend, whatever they have learned from school is only the tip of the iceberg. It's not going to help them become future ready. Okay. So even in terms of social media, as I mentioned earlier, many middle school, high school, and K-12 schools in the United States, they ban social media. And as a result of banning that, and guess what? We are sending a very strong message to the parents and to the children. Social media is very bad. It's very evil. But let me tell you, social media is not the root of all evil. But guess what? How we are using social media is very problematic. And at many schools, we are not teaching our children how I'm using social media, for example, right? The other side of social media, using social media as a way to share knowledge, to inform others, to tell stories, to build a brand, and to start a social movement. To me, that is a higher level of social media. And it's totally possible, but our children are not learning that. So this is kind of one thing that we supplement at my school, which is new media, and launching a podcast, join that creator, that 1% population. Life skills, but I don't really have time to talk about life skills today. Future training. And I don't know if you can see that clearly. So the last one, this is the iceberg that I created for Classroom Without Walls for my 3 months Life Accelerator program. We cover all of the three, everything underneath the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg. And one is mindset. And it is really important, like education is an inside-out journey. You need to cultivate the within, help our children to understand who they are, to master their mind, to master what is inside them in order to transform the outside. And so the reason I want to talk about this is because today we are talking about social media. And I want to send this message to parents and students, whoever is watching this right now or on replay. How much that we are pushing our children or ourselves outside to build that personal brand, to put our work out there, as much as we're pushing our work and who we are, our personal brand outside, we also need to go inside to cultivate that self-love. Okay. And oftentimes I see this part is really missing in the schools that are actually talking about social media, talking about personal branding. It is important that we're sending our children outside, right, to build their personal brand. And my business is entirely built based on my personal brand. I can't say this enough, a very important 21st century skill. And now when I hire people to work at Classroom Without Walls, I do look at their personal brand. We kind of discuss this in the second point, in the first point, the show me economy. I don't want to repeat myself here. So it is very important skill. But also I discuss what is missing. I discovered what is missing is that as we are pushing our children outside to share their work, to be active on LinkedIn, to launch a podcast, to educate, to inspire, to inform, and we are missing this very important internal piece. We also want to help our children and ourselves to go inside to cultivate that self-love, so that whatever other people say and do about you does not mean anything to you. Your validation comes from the inside. Your validation does not come from how many people are joining me live, how many hearts I'm receiving, how many reactions I'm getting, how many comments I'm getting. That is not a rubric. That is not a benchmark for you to evaluate your self-worth. Your self-worth comes from the inside. So my program under mindset, we talk about neuroplasticity, how they can literally rewire their brain, how to cultivate self-love, how to understand your strengths, how to understand your weakness, how to do that vision board, and all those things. Very, very important. So, as you are pushing your children outside to share their work online, whatever they do, it is also important that you have meaningful conversations with your own children. And if this is about yourself, if you are building your personal brand and you also want to do things to cultivate that mindset, I love myself, I'm good enough, that validation comes from inside. And I share this with you because as my personal brand has grown a lot within the last several years, I have people, I was being bullied. I have people say things about me and used to affect me a lot, but hardly anymore, because now the validation comes from inside. I started to do the inner work. And I think our children need to understand they cannot avoid social media in their life. Again, point number 2, a very important 21st century skill. So for them to show up being resilient, being mentally strong, is that they cultivate the inside. Okay, so those are the 3 things I want to share regarding our children's social media addiction. To recap, point number 1 is social media apps are designed to make you be addictive. That is their job. Okay, so understand that. Point number 2 is digital literacy is a very important 21st century skill. It doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how young you are, and I leverage my ability to practice digital storytelling, digital story selling on a daily basis, and digital copywriting. Those are important skills. And many of our children, they are not learning those skills from their traditional school environment. And if you are a parent, you have to supplement this for sure. Okay, banning social media does not work. You want to have a good balance. Okay, point number 2. And point number 3 is digital natives, which is our children, pretty much everyone out there. We have grown up with technology. Therefore, we call those people, Gen Z, and we call them digital natives. Being a digital native does not make you a digital literate. This is a learned skill for you to join that 1%, learn to create. Okay, and we also discuss the Bloom taxonomy, different levels of learning from remember, memorization to actually create. Okay, you want to coach your children and show them how they can leverage social media and creative technologies to create, to share their learning with the general public. Okay, and last, we discussed kind of my model. This is a model that we use at Classroom Without Walls. 3 core elements. And the last one is mindset. As you are pushing your children outside to put their work on the social media to practice digital networking with different people, you also want to help your children to go within, to cultivate that self-love, meditation, visualization, vision board, self-awareness. All those things are regulation. All those things are very important. Okay, so I hope you benefit from today's training. And next Tuesday, same time, same location, I'm going to discuss. So let me share. Share. Where are you? Here you are. So next Tuesday, I actually have a 3C model, very, very powerful, that I use with my own students at Classroom Without Walls. And I teach them how they can use the 3C model to really transform their social media addiction into a career building and personal development tool. And I will also be talking about digital networking and so much more. So that is for next Tuesday. Make sure you bookmark your calendar. So if you benefited from today's training, and feel free to share this with your friends and tag people, parents especially, and children. And yes, so thank you so much, everyone. And if you have questions, let me know. If you don't have any questions, and thank you so much for joining me live. And my name is I'm the founder of Classroom Without Walls. And if you are interested in joining my 3-month Life Accelerator program, so feel free to say interested, comment in the comment section. I would love to have a chat with you. And we follow a mixed age model. And this is our curriculum, life changing from the inside out. I have lots of testimonials I can share with you. But anyway, thank you so much again, everyone, on this Tuesday. And thank you for joining me live. I hope to see you next Tuesday, same time. And also, I host 2 live streaming podcasts. And tomorrow, and I have my friend Alicia on the show, and we're going to discuss her journey as a solo entrepreneur to generating 1 million in revenue as an event planner, and how she has been helping her company to thrive during this global pandemic as an event planner. So really exciting. Join that. And my Friday podcast focuses on education. But anyway, thank you so much, everyone. Bye. Stay future ready. Love you guys.